Welcome to episode number 45 of our Move the Needle podcast. We're live today at Origami Owl.
I love this. I've been hearing about this for years.
Yes.
I mean, a decade plus.
Okay.
Really been associated. I've been friends with Tammy that long plus. And so I've always heard about this and just fairly recently became associated and came to visit. So I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a great storefront. We're going to get into all the things Origami Owl and thank goodness in just a couple of minutes. First up, though, we want to say thanks to Bella Set Lingerie and Brooklyn V's. You guys have a look at this, and then we'll come on back and do this podcast. Hang tight.
What makes Bella Set Lingerie so unique? For starters, check out the vast selection and size range. Cups from A to K in styles like balcony, plunge, wireless, strapless, and more, including mastectomy and maternity bras. With superior customer service and free professional fittings, it's the go-to bra shop in the East Valley. Locally owned, with 2 locations in Ahwatukee and Gilbert. Check out our glowing reviews on Google and Yelp. Visit bellasetlingerie.com to learn more.
Well, welcome to episode number 45 of our Move the Needle podcast.
And we're sure it's 45.
This
I didn't
is
check.
45.
Because it's back to me knowing and you not, but today I don't know.
No, I know it all.
Okay.
Last 2 days ago, we were over at the Hair of the Dog, and it was 44.
That's right, 44.
So all good, man. Yeah.
Plus 1.
So we've got Tyson, Basha on the show today, Chrissy, Weems on the show today. But first, we're going to sit down with Fast Forklift owner, operator, CEO. I do it all kind of a guy.
And then more.
And then more. Shawn Maxwell, welcome to our show, bud.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Nice to be here. Well, not here. I'm here every single day, but it's nice to be with you
It's
guys.
a little different setup,
New
huh?
company. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, okay, you're the owner at Thank Goodness, owner at Origami Owl, forklift or Fast Forklift owner, PH Pros real estate agent. Are you bored?
Hold on,
Do you remember
messed
he
that
was?
up.
You remember
I
he's
messed that up?
we forgot he was a firefighter before all
we
this.
didn't chat. PH Pros is a separate company with my brother out here in the back here in the warehouse. He takes care of a warehouse, and then I do have my real estate license. Having that for a while.
Yeah.
And then I started a trucking company, AZ Trucking, a month ago, which I'm super excited about. We can talk about that later.
Entrepreneur extraordinaire.
And then my son and I are doing some event stuff. I'm pretty excited about. He's a DJ. His name's Tate.
Okay.
I got to put out his call sign.
Tate?
No,
Shout
it's
out to
DJ Special T.
Oh,
Whoa,
Special
T.
Shout out.
And we got Special T events coming online pretty soon.
That's awesome.
DJ chair rentals, troughs,
Maybe,
you name it, whatever you need.
We have live music in this. Maybe we have to spin some tunes in between guests sometime.
But so you're Arizona born and bred.
Mesa, Arizona. Born in Mesa, yes, sir.
Yeah, Mesa High School is where you
Oh,
graduated.
you guys
been
did some
married
research. You guys checked me out.
Oh,
23
yeah.
years.
Ready?
3
25
kids.
years now.
Woo!
Yeah, 3 kids, 19, 16, and 13, and that's my life, man.
Yeah,
If I'm not hustling, I'm with them, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'll bet. How did you? Okay, what's the first thing that we just talked about? What's the first thing you did?
You missed one. I told you. He's a
What?
firefighter.
Yeah,
It started there, right?
Yeah, 1,000%. Yeah, I worked for the Phoenix Fire Department for 12 years. It was awesome. It was beautiful. It was an amazing journey. Made a lot of great friends, but this opportunity, Origami Owl, came about, and it allowed me to pivot. No one quits the fire department. It's pretty crazy to even talk about that. Signing those papers, that paycheck for the rest of your life, quitting the fire department. But, my kids were more important to me than anything in the world. And this Origami Owl was the opportunity that I could make breakfast for my kids, take them to school every single day. And I've done that since the day I quit the fire department, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, it's 12 years. 12 years was great. Made a lot of great friends, learned a lot, but wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, once upon a time I did the firefighter challenge. It was a radio bit that I had to do, and I went through the thing that you guys all have to do to kind of like stay up to speed.
Little skills course or something. Yeah,
That's exactly right. Yeah, I did.
How'd you do?
I made it. I survived.
He does radio though. He does this though.
Yeah.
So he didn't make it.
I didn't.
I was kidding.
I didn't want to join the force, but
Yeah.
I was proud of myself for finishing it.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, I mean, you put on all that gear, you put on the tank. It's like 70 pounds of gear on your body.
Yeah, but I was 29 when I got hired, so I mean, it wasn't that hard. The physical part's not hard. I mean, it's one of those jobs. You're paid for what you're learn, know what to do. It's phenomenal, man. Being a firefighter was the coolest experience of my life. I'm not gonna lie. I made some friends that I'll have forever. But like I said, it's all about my kids, man. I just want to be If you break that down, they work every third day. So you're on one day, 2 days off. So that's a third of the year, the third of your life, the third of my son's 18-year life. 6 years I'm at the station. That blew my mind when I really thought like that. So when I had the chance to pivot, like you said, I did.
I thought it was interesting finding out that from firefighter to jeweler entrepreneur.
Yes, you wear a helmet to work every day, then out in jewelry and around a lot of women.
Yeah, and I've got a question along those lines, Shawn. What's an emergency level business crisis that you faced in the beginning that my question is aligning that was like similar to like a 911 fire crisis?
I mean, we've been in business for 12 years. We've had a roller coaster of experience. I mean, we have, in the beginning, growing at the rate we did, we had 650 employees within our second year. So obviously we're gonna have fires to put out every single day, and
that's
it's
what
based
I'm asking.
on inventory, not enough inventory. Not getting the products out, mistakes. You know what I mean? But I think the fire department prepares you
that's what I was
because
gonna say,
you've been around, you've seen it all, you've seen the worst it can possibly work. You can see, but it allows you to deal with things. You know what I mean? With you don't want to say this, where I come back, hang out at the fire station with the guys. You want to have fun. You do a lot of joking around, and I think that helps you. Takes some of that stuff you see and you deal with every day at the fire station.
The tough
so
stuff.
I feel like as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, right, dealing with employees, dealing with situations. There's really nothing. When that person calls 911 that day, that's an important. That's a fire.
Yes.
That's a real crisis, right? But here at work, we're going to get it done. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're going to make more money.
That's
it's
what I
just
was
money.
thinking.
Yeah.
You have perspective.
You're prepped.
Right? Like,
He's
no,
prepped.
this is not a life, like, as bad as it may be, nobody's dying.
And the older I get, the less I care about. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't care. I mean, I'll make more money. It's going to get done. I don't know. Things I wish I would have known when I was younger, right? Those things you learn as you get older.
What do you wish you would have known when you were younger, Steve?
What would I have known if I was younger? Geez. That's a tough one. I'm still living that. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I think about that quote, as a business owner, how does it go? I forgot how it goes, but to take that risk, right? To get into business. I wish I had known, the biggest risk as a business entrepreneur like myself is now, and I'm older, is not taking the risk. I mean, freaking just doing it.
Leaving it on
making
the table.
Making it happen. I'm not prepared. The trucking company, I'm not prepared. We don't have this, and this, but we're going to make it happen. We're going to do it. You know what I mean? So with my son, I want to instill in him that, why wait? Let's do it. Let's just do it now.
Let me allude to that because that is something that is part of the conception of Move the Needle. There was a pivot that I had when we were developing, and my mom, unbeknownst to her, gave me what I called a sign and said, "Do you remember? I see a commercial. I've actually invented a couple of things. I've launched one. It's actually very
You may have
successful.
heard of it, the space shuttle.
Yes.
into space.
Oh, wow.
This little piece.
Elon, you look different.
No.
Mr. Musk.
Yeah. I have a board meeting in the Elon room in a couple weeks, so thanks.
Nice.
No, but anyways, my mom, I actually had something, and it never went anywhere. But somebody else did take it about 10 years later, and my mom said it that day. She goes, "Do you remember that? I see that on the commercial. You told me about that. That was what you had." And I go, "That was a light that I said." I'm not going to make that mistake twice. And I actually did get a pitch with that, but that was when we were kind of conceiving Move the Needle, Matthew and I and Max. And it let me put the foot on the gas, saying like, this is right. We know what we're doing. There's a lot of thought behind this, and here we are a year later, and it's going amazing.
Blank or get off the pot. Isn't that
Right,
isn't that
we
what
did
they
it.
say?
That is it.
Yeah, we
Something
did.
that goes something like that.
Yeah.
Leave the word shit.
Oh, there you go. All right. I didn't know what type of podcast this
You're
was,
good,
so I was
you're
trying to be
good,
careful.
I like the fact that you
Only kids listening.
Yeah, exactly. I like the fact you brought your kid, because one of my questions, and I found that you said you only get 18 summers with your kids. So I thought of you as well, Matthew. Here, what's one summer moment that perfectly captures what kind of dad you are? You've had a lot of these.
Oh, I don't know. I always say that because my dad took his own life when I was 5, and my mom
sorry to hear.
gave up. She worked, right? She was a nurse, and she did everything she possibly could. I had the best of everything. I mean, pitching, as she's a catcher, I had the best life ever growing up. And some people would say it's not, right? But I mean, I wouldn't change that for the world either. Like I said, I made this sort of inner promised to myself, as I got older, didn't realize at 5 years old what was going on, what was happening, right? But like as I got older, I said if I become a dad, which hopefully I can do that, right? I want to be present, you know what I mean? And that's been my number one. I feel like anybody you talk to, hopefully they would say that I'm present, I'm a good dad, because that's what else you got, you know what I mean? So like for me,
we're getting nods over there.
And I hope I am, I bust his balls more than anybody because I want him to be successful, and I hope he looks back and it's not me being a dick, it's me just being dad, and I want him to be successful and learn different things and networking and talk to people. It's important to me. School's great. If he wants to do it, that's great. But so for me, we have things we do religiously. We go to Lake Powell every single year.
Okay, nice.
Same time, and we've done that for like 15 years now.
Beautiful.
And we go to Carlsbad. We do a couple other things, but our favorite family trip is Lake Powell every year. We go out there, spend 8-9 days on the lake, 2 hours out, and you go in a couple miles an hour in a houseboat, but you go 2.5 hours in, you camp, and you're there, and it's the best thing in the world.
I've done that before. I had one experience doing it. You are in the middle of nowhere. I love that.
It's the coolest thing
Have you ever done that?
No cell phones work. Oh, it's my dream.
Oh,
right.
Have you done it or not? Your dream
Well,
to still
I mean,
do it.
I've been out in the middle of nowhere before.
This Lake Powell's was a really, put that on your list.
You ever get a chance, man?
It's
the name
crazy
of our,
big.
name of our
It's
boat is
shocking.
Bucket List, which is cool, So put that on your bucket list.
Shawn, isn't it a shockingly large lake? I mean, I was stunned how
I was
large.
blown away too the first time I went out there. Yeah, I went out there like in high school with the family. Didn't really appreciate it as much, right? But now that I take the family out and be able to get out there and enjoy it and camp and jet skis and the whole thing, and
super
just
nice.
it's camping on on the water on a beautiful
Stars,
houseboat.
the stars
you
out
can see
there.
everything.
Oh.
For a while we didn't have service, but now our boat has Starlink on it.
Oh wow!
Damn, you're Elon Musk out here, man.
Eating steaks.
Yeah.
But isn't it sort
watching.
of nice without it? Like to me, that's
No,
why
I
always
like it
love
better.
to get-
I like it better. I don't
And
care.
I'm
I want to be off the grid.
We're
You know what I mean?
disconnected, man.
Yeah, just for the
Yeah.
kids' sake too. You know what I mean? But it's nice to for someone you check your emails, right? Emergency stuff. But
Sure.
I could do without it for sure. But
How did you
Nice.
come to be in the origami? And I think we should spend
was-
a minute. I don't think we should talk a little bit about Thank Goodness too.
Yeah, I always tell
because-
Chrissy I was at the wrong place, the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just messing around. Firefighter, real estate. Chrissy and I were in the same neighborhood in Chandler. That's where I met Chrissy and Bella. I think Bella was probably 7 years old at the time, my daughter's age, when I first met them, right? Was doing some real estate, flipping some houses, fire department. I had a flooring business before that, did tile and showers
My
and
God,
all that,
you
all
have
that
done it
crap.
all, man.
Yeah, all that good stuff. And that's how I sort of met Chrissy, because I did flooring and stuff, and she was an interior designer. A quick part. She ordered this sink for us for our house one time. Went to pick it up. It was this office in Chandler. I'm like, where's this place? What's going on here? What is this? She's like, oh, this is our new thing. This is my sister-in-law, Jess and Ben, Dan, whatever, and this is our new business called Origami Owl. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna revolutionize this industry and blah blah. I'm like, that's cool. And I sort of like was a little envious, right? Like, oh, they're freaking passionate about something. It was awesome. It was cool. Picked up my sink, went home, installed it, did my thing. Get a call from Chrissy. This is like 2011, maybe September-ish, saying, hey, you remember that thing I was talking about, Origami Owl? I'm looking for some money. And I don't think she thought I would have the money. Maybe she thought somebody I knew, maybe my in-laws would pitch in a little bit or something. I was in between flipping some houses. I had some money. She needed $100,000. I gave her exactly all I had in my savings, wiped us out. Took a huge leap of faith, right, on something that I had no idea, nothing about, didn't know anything about direct sales space, didn't know anything about that jewelry, didn't really know her sister-in-law and brother-in-law, and it was the coolest thing in the world. I mean, it's been a huge educational learning experience for me. It's 10 years of college. It's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
Shawn, for our audience, what made you take that leap of faith? And look, what you're saying, like
I don't know. I think I don't.
Was it something did you have confidence in the product, confidence in the people, or both?
Neither. I think
Neither.
Jeff.
I love that.
Jeff. I
I
remember
love
when
that.
Jeff,
That's
it was Chrissy's brother-in-law. He showed me some, forecast or whatever. I'm like, how are you forecasting? You haven't even freaking started the business. You know what I mean? Like, what am I looking at here? You've never even sold anything yet. So it's just I don't know. I even asked my wife. I even asked my wife, like, what would
Something
why do we do it? Would we do it again? You know what I mean? Like, I'm saying, but just like it's weird, like it was.
I mean,
I think maybe I was a little bit of an entrepreneur with other businesses,
Okay.
but I think this was just another
That's
opportunity.
that was your life
And
savings.
originally, I wasn't even really an owner. I was just an investor. And then we sort of renegotiated and gave me some ownership. That day, I had a key, and you couldn't keep me out of that place forever. I was picking orders. I get off work at the fire department, come straight to the office. Pick and pack orders. Be there the next day at 4 o'clock in the morning, picking orders, and it was when I get into something, man, I'm all in. I'm passionate, and I want it to succeed. Right?
Well,
there's no failure.
I think
And we should have failed a million times, but we're still here today, and so it's cool.
I love hearing that story.
Failing up, brother. You're failing up.
Failing up.
That's a good way. Now, can we talk a little bit about the T-shirt that he's wearing?
Yeah,
Because this is next to the trucking in your event space that you're getting into.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get a nice shot of that, Tyler. Fast Forklift, your full-service shop for all your material handling.
Let's help you get it up.
Let us help you get it up. You know what I mean?
Let us help you get it up.
That's on the back of our vans. It's massive. It's on the back of a box truck. Quick story on that. My friend of mine, Eric's been in the forklift business for 25 years. Good dude, humble, just a good worker, great communication with people. And we just started talking one day, and I saw an offer. He needed some help. You know what I mean? With maybe the marketing and just, the things that I can bring to the table. I don't know how to wrench. I'm not a forklift mechanic, but he is, and he's good at it. And I think just the two of us together, and again, I see an opportunity. I see Arizona. There's so much opportunity out here for there's so much growth.
Who uses you?
We have a lot of customers, so we're mostly, our bread and butter is mobile. We drive out, we'll fix your forklift, we'll repair it, we'll do preventative maintenance on it.
So you're working with construction companies who have these types of
Bashes. We have a lot of customers.
Oh yeah, you think
all over
of
the
every
valley.
place that's got a forklift.
Yeah.
And
We
so
have
many.
3 here.
Right.
There's probably 15 in this thing. There's El Sol Salsa's across the street. That's the wedding I'm going to tonight. You ever heard of El Sol Salsa? The best salsa on the market. They're at Costco, yellow tops. You've seen them. I know you have. Yeah, if you haven't, you better go try it.
Okay.
My friend Ryan Bullock, they own that. So that's they have a couple forklifts. So, there's just
Interesting.
It's one of those weird industries I didn't know much about, right? But they're everywhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they need to be maintained, or they need to get new ones, or there's the growth in Arizona is ridiculous. There's businesses popping up all the time. There's opportunities.
Yeah,
So
I've got a lead
for me, I think I saw his work ethic, the opportunity, and the two combined. There's nothing more I love better than that beginning starts of a company, building a brand, changing the name from like customer service, I don't know what it was. I can't even remember what it was called, but having something brandable, Fast Forklift, and I'm passionate about it. I want to have shirts that I can wear, you know what I'm saying? My wife wants to dress me like Sporty Spice from the freaking Spice Girls, man. I want to wear the same Mark Zuckerberg style shirt every day of my life, but if it's mine, I love it. I want to wear it, my own brand, support it,
How long has Fast Forklift been around?
Not very long. Probably a year. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but a year of really, really going at it, so.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's growing. It's growing every single day. We can, the more he's out knocking doors, we could grow every day. But right now, he's, we got a couple techs, and they're busy. And every day when we get to a certain point, we're gonna get another tech, and it's a scalable company.
Really cool,
Awesome.
man.
Yeah.
You just have your hands in everything. And so I've asked a few people, I've been fortunate enough to interview thousands of people over my career. And every now and again, I'll meet a guy like you who's just got his hands in a bunch of spaces. And the question I love to ask those people is when you go to a party and somebody says, what do you do for a living?
It's so funny right now.
How do you answer that question?
It's so funny right now. I catch myself saying, I don't even know. Sometimes, I talk to him about Origami Owl. A lot of people have heard about it. So, I'm in the jewelry business.
It's easy to say.
That's how I'll start out like that. But I'll say right now I've got a couple things in the fire, right? New irons in the fire, some new things I'm really passionate about, and I'll explain it to them what I'm doing. But,
but there's no quick answer.
There's not, which
like
is
20
that'd be
years
great.
Ago, I'm a firefighter for Phoenix.
Yeah, that was easy, and that when you're a firefighter at a dinner or a party, you're the go-to guy, man. They want to hear about it. What you seen? What's the first call you've been on? It's like the same. But I don't know. I like the variety. And opportunities,
What else? What else you got on the hot list over there, Steve?
Let's see. I've got a couple fun ones, but let's
All right,
see.
give him a final fun one, and we got to wrap up.
Yeah, let's okay. So you've done these. It's on this multifaceted deal. I've read about that. I picked it up very easily.
Which one?
By seeing this, that you do all these different things. And Matthew's talking about you're into doing all these major businesses. I saw that. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking control panel, and there's buttons, there's farm mode, there's firefighter hustle, there's CEO decisions, there's dad jokes. Which one of these do you think gets jammed the most in your life? And talk about that. All these facets. So you got,
probably just time management. Sometimes I can feel like I'm not the best at using my time, properly and to the best. I think I'm great at, trusting the people we have. You know what I mean? I think that's a
You couldn't do this without that trust.
100%. And
Right.
yeah, and I think, and that's why, like the trucking company, my partner's name is Pedro. He's a military guy, Marines. He's been in the trucking business for a while, was going to go do stuff with his family, didn't work out, doing some other things. And I saw him, I liked him, I love his personality, I love his work ethic. And I was like, I want to create a successful business for him, right? For us, but for him to be proud of something for his wife, for his young son. Like that to me is freaking awesome. The employees, I don't go on this side of the building. I stay in operations. My brother manages the warehouse, been our operations manager for like 12 years. Those are my people. I gravitate towards them. I just, I love the relationships, the stories, the lives we've changed as employees, as out in the field, the 75,000 women selling our product at one time, the relationships, friendships, seeing their lives change. I've had a very, very, very blessed life, and that's why I love these small businesses, because it allows me to take the things I've learned and really help some great guys that are just may not have that fire that I have, or just that like freaking why wait, let's do it now sort of mentality, and taking them and growing some businesses that'll benefit all of us. But I mean, at the same time, like that to me is a passion that I've learned about myself more and more recently, and I would do the same thing with my son. I'm super excited to do a little business with him. So
yeah, I thought you answered it well. Yeah, exactly. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, man. All right. Well, listen, thank you very much.
Yeah.
What are you
Thank
going
you,
to do?
guys.
Like, now we're done podcasting. You have a big night tonight. Where are you headed next?
Go home, put on my sporty Spice clothes. I'm sure that my wife's at Dillard's getting right now, which I'm not
Yes.
super upset about. And we're going to go to a wedding, first of all, a wedding reception, and then a couple of graduations. Man, we got a full night.
All right.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
Another day in the life.
Yes.
You guys got a bunch more interviews to do. So
We sure do. We're going to sit down
Yes.
in just a couple of minutes. It's a nice tee up with Tyson,
Yes.
Basha,
Yes,
and
sir.
then we'll sit down with Chrissy Weems from Origami Owl. So hang out with us for a couple of minutes, and we'll be right back. Thanks again, Shawn.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time.
At Brooklyn V's, we bring the taste of Brooklyn right here to Arizona. Our family's been serving up real Italian food for generations, and every dish is made with love, just like Nonna used to make. From classic spaghetti and meatballs to layers of cheesy lasagna, stuffed shells, and the best New York-style pizza in town, every bite is pure Italian comfort. And if you haven't tried our world-famous cheesecake, well, you're missing out. It's been rated one of the best in the area, and once you taste it, you'll know why. So come hungry, leave happy, and enjoy a little slice of Brooklyn right here in Arizona.
Welcome back. It's segment number 2 of our Move the Needle podcast. We're live at the Origami Owl headquarters, really.
Yes.
This is the headquarters
Yes.
here.
The think tank.
Lovingly referred to as the nest sometimes.
The nest.
The nest,
This
actually.
Is good. This is why you're here.
Yeah, when we were originally Origami Owl, right, from the very start, we called our first building the nest, and then that continued on with each advancement in buildings. So
Okay, who is that guy? That is the voice of Tyson, Basha. First question anybody's going to think when they hear that name is, are you related to the Basha grocery store?
In the famed Eddie Basha.
I am actually. Eddie was my grandfather.
Okay.
Also my best friend, believe it or not. He and I worked together for almost 15 years. I saw him almost every day of my life for 15 years. It was incredible.
That's a pretty
Yeah.
fortunate set of circumstances.
Very fortunate, especially after he passed away. Once he passed away, obviously difficult time for the family, but that was crazy because I lost a boss, I lost a best friend, I lost a confidant, but just an incredible human. Obviously, if you're born and raised in Arizona like I am, I don't know where the two of you are originally from.
Yeah.
I know you're from Boston,
Yes,
but I don't know if you were born
Buffalo,
there.
Boston,
Okay.
but
Yeah, you've been here. I mean, you're
I knew
here long
Bashas
enough
right
to
away, but I
appreciate
moved to
it.
Tempe, so the Bashas was
Oh,
right on
so-
Broadway. So
yeah.
right around the block.
Yeah, a lot of the transplants don't know Bashas, and specifically my grandfather, actually. They're not used to hearing him on the radio or in the stores when you're there.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, just an incredible human and very fortunate to be born into that family, really.
I've always wondered, if you own a grocery store, do you pay for groceries?
100%.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually a funny question that I got all the
I
time
can
growing up.
imagine.
People thought I could just walk into the grocery store and
pull
grab
stuff off
something I
the
wanted.
shelves? No.
Didn't work like that. I got the same discount as every member. So the Basha family referred to any employee as a member. And so we actually kind of carried that here onto Origami Owl. I call everybody team members. They're not employees, they're team members. But every member got the same discount that my grandfather got. So,
which was no discount.
which is about 10%. It's like a 10% discount on groceries for being an employee of the stores or a member of the stores. Yeah.
Oh my God! I want to know really quick.
Yeah.
Just on the grocery store thing. So one of my very first jobs was at a grocery store.
Okay.
I stocked for a little while. I pushed carts for a little while, and I did the cashier for a little while.
Okay.
All very interesting experiences. I'm glad I had them. I'm glad I had them for this reason. Number one, I always put my cart
That was
back.
going to be my question to you: is do you put your cart back?
Every single time, and I will give somebody a stare down that doesn't. Because I was the dude that had to go get your cart because you were too lazy. At any rate.
Yes.
Did you work in the grocery store?
You know what? It's actually really sad. I never got an opportunity to work in the stores. I
Okay.
visited the stores constantly, but I actually never worked inside one of the stores. What happened is my older brother got pulled right into the stores. So I'm one of 5 children. I'm the second oldest, but my older brother got pulled right away into the stores. And then that created kind of a vacancy within our corporate office, within the corporate structure of who was working with my grandfather. And so I moved right into working with my grandfather. So for starters, though, I mean, I've been working for the family since I was around 8 years old. On Saturdays, we used to get taken into the office to do different things, and, you know, that continued on. So I feel like I've worked for the stores for longer than those 15 years that I'm declaring, but anyway, officially 15 years, let's say that.
You want to ask me a couple of questions about the family? And then I want to...
By the way, so I had experience with your grandfather. I've been
You should put that differently.
part of St. Vincent de Paul. Was that?
Said you should put that differently.
I didn't even know what I said. He's so generous. The Turkey Tuesday at St. Vincent de Paul for years. He was the Basha, and Eddie himself was very involved in that. So
very involved in St. Vincent.
I had some awesome experience. And so, how would you explain the Think Goodness mission to your grandfather today in 1 or 2 sentences?
Honestly, I would say following in your footsteps. And I know that's very vague, but the mission of Thank Goodness is basically just to spread love and kindness, right? And that was something that my grandfather was very passionate about and did very, very well. I mean, sorry, I'm biased, but I don't know if there's an equal out there, to be honest. My grandfather did so much behind the scenes that people never even knew about. I never knew about. I think I was sharing with you the other day that you know, I was with him every day for 15 years. That's no joke. I mean, pretty much every day of my life I spent with him. And yet there would be phone calls that he'd have that I, you know, wasn't really paying attention to. And later on in life, I find out what that phone call pertained to. And it was someone calling in with an urgent request. Or I recently actually heard a story that I had no clue my grandfather did this, but there was a state education legislator who would go around and specifically to the Native American reservations. And he actually carried around a credit card in his pocket from my grandfather that my grandfather would tell him, use this to pay for any kid that needs school supplies or anything that you see that's of need. I never knew that. My grandfather never shared that with me. That was never talked about until after my grandfather's passing. So
what a heart.
Incredible. Like I said, I'm very, very fortunate.
Yeah, and I'm glad I queued it up with the St. Vincent de Paul stuff, because that's perfectly indicative of the experience I had with the guy. There was like, anybody's like, if you need a turkey, you go to Basha's. There was like period, end of story. It was like there wasn't gonna be a family without a turkey at Thanksgiving that we were involved with if Basha's was involved. So
Can you help me understand Origami Owl and Thank Goodness? Are they the same? Are they different? Are they merging?
Great question.
Yeah.
So the company started in, we'll actually say at the end of 2010. We started Origami Owl to go into a mall kiosk at Chandler Mall. Okay.
Yeah, you and Bella.
Chrissy and Bella originally started it, and Chrissy was helping me on another project. As you know, I'm an entrepreneur, but I was working for my family business at the time, Basha's, and I was trying to start another business. It was called Eon Clothing. And we actually had a number of professional, well, they weren't professional at the time, but skateboard riders. They were very young, and we were trying to build a skateboard team to go out and promote our products. We were kind of an action sports company. So Chrissy was actually advising me a little bit on that. I turned to her. She's a family friend. I turned to her for some advice specifically around design, believe it or not. And during that time, she came to me with this request from Bella, and that was, I want to start a business to buy a car when I turn 16.
That's the story I heard.
That's the story. Yeah. And Chrissy, I'm sure, will do a better job of telling you the story. And I'm trying to give you the Cliff Note version of it. But Chrissy told her daughter, you need to come up with the name of the company. And she was really into origami, believe it or not, at the time. I guess her bedroom, I never saw it, but her bedroom was covered in origami figurines. Yeah. And she loved owls. So put the two together, Origami Owl. So that started in late 2010, mall kiosk, and it wasn't until 2012 when we decided that more people were kind of requesting, like, how do I get more of this product? How do I do this? You know, we're at a mall kiosk in Chandler, Arizona, but people are calling from across the country asking for product.
Wow.
So we decided we had to do something different. And I should tell you, my part of this is at that time, I was helping design business cards. I helped design some of the stuff for the mall kiosk. And Chrissy actually hit me up for some money to get into the mall kiosk. And I was not an investor by any means. As I just said, I was starting my own company. So I had some money set aside for that, and ended up investing some of that money into a mall kiosk to pay rent and kind of help Origami Owl get started. And at that time, I became a partner in the business. I wasn't expecting to be, never expected to leave the family business, never expected to do anything but my own projects. And anyway, ended up being part of this company and still here.
So where does Thank Goodness come in?
So I apologize. Yeah, I should have finished with that. So
okay.
Towards around like the 2015, 2016 timeframe, we ended up partnering with a company called Willing Beauty. Well, at the time it's called Willa, but we created a company that's a skincare company called Willing Beauty Company. And so we had these two companies we were running, Origami Owl, Willing Beauty Company, and it was really confusing for the people who sold our product. They weren't sure kind of what they were. If they were a skincare company, they're a jewelry company. So we kept these two companies a little bit separate, but it created this interesting dynamic of people saying, well, I want to do both. I want to sell jewelry and I want to sell skincare. How do I do that when these are two separate companies? So around 2020, we decided, you know what, we want to do more than just this. And on top of that, we wanted to introduce more of our philanthropic nature of what the company was really doing behind the scenes. To backtrack a little bit, with Origami Owl, we had a program called Live Sparkly. And with Live Sparkly, we would sell a specific set of, they're called crystals, Swarovski crystals. We'd sell just a specific set of those all year long. And the funds for that would get put into just this one pot, and our community would decide who is deserving of whatever request they needed. So our people who sold our product would submit to us, you know, people within their community who really needed help, you know, a house burned down or someone needed money for groceries, whatever else. And we would take that money and we would basically go out and do acts of kindness with that money towards the end of the year. And so anyway, with that, we decided we needed to really kind of get official. So we finally started this 501c3, and we lumped it all under this idea of Think Goodness.
Okay.
And it was just, that's how we ended up with just one company. So it became a little bit confusing, but we refer to them, we refer to everything now as Think Goodness. However, Origami Owl is a brand within Think Goodness versus its own company now.
Got it. Thank Goodness, the umbrella.
Thank Goodness is the
there's a few
umbrella.
things underneath.
Exactly.
So your role is the Chief Inspiration Officer.
Yes.
That sounds like the greatest title on planet Earth. It sounds like you get to come to work every day and inspire
Either
people
that,
with creativity.
either that or the toughest, one or the other.
No,
You know,
my personality feels like the greatest gig
I
ever.
think
So-
it sounds great, but let's hear.
So interesting enough, back in 2012, when I was really heavily involved in this company, I started out just doing product development. I had a passion for product development. I had spent some time overseas working with factories and things of that nature. So I was really kind of the guy teed up for that job. So my job at that time for the first couple years was truly just all I did was head down, focus on product. I was awake till 4 a.m. when our factories were open. I'd get maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep if I was lucky, and then I'd be back in the office by 9 to be there with everybody else. But I had to be on multiple time zones, considering our factories were in China and Thailand at that time. And so I was constantly up. And so eventually I decided, you know what, this is like too much for me. I love what I'm doing, but I'm never sleeping. I had zero social life whatsoever.
Yeah,
like
you're gonna
zero.
run out of steam at some point.
Oh yeah. I think I held the record at one point where I spent 32 hours consecutively in the office without ever leaving. I think that was the record I held at one point. Yeah. But that was this. I tell you all this to say that eventually I hired a woman, an amazing woman, to take my job. She didn't know she was taking my job. She came in thinking she was going to work with me on product development, but I hired her once she was ready. I'm like, great, congratulations, product development's yours. I'm moving on to another role that's more suited for me. And I started traveling around the country and spending a lot of time with the people who sold our product and just finding out like what's going on with their lives, how can we help their businesses, how can we make things better for them, and really just kind of develop this passion for it. Chrissy, actually, I'll give her credit. She was the first person to kind of force this idea of personal development into me. Like, you really need to start focusing on yourself a little bit. And I tell you the whole story to say that all tied together. When I had zero social life, I was just focused, like solely focused on product development. I wasn't thinking about myself, wasn't really taking care of myself, wasn't doing the things I needed to. And so we actually started implementing that into the company. when we'd have founders meetings, I mean, someone had to share an inspirational message. We had to talk about it. We had to do all those things before we could get down to business. And so that just became a massive passion for me. So when I was given that title, it was like I wore it with a badge of honor, because personal development became everything to me. Still to this day, I spend a lot of time on personal development.
It's just one of my biggest focal points in my life.
I think people have to.
Yeah.
I think if you're not doing that, you're going to miss out on a lot. You're never going to achieve what you really want to
The
achieve.
reason why I asked that question, I think it's different in life and in business. When you're actually having people in business and trying to do it, I think it's a double challenge, I think, because, you don't know what's going on at home. You're blending home with business.
100%.
It's a little bit of a challenge. That's why. So, but it sounds like you're the guy for the job.
Let me say, I was the guy for the job. I hope I'm still the guy for the job. But during our time, we really developed a culture here at Origami Owl, thank goodness. We developed this amazing culture where everybody was kind of committed to personal development. We made it as part of, as I said, our founders meetings used to start out that way. And then when we had executive team, we implemented that exact same policy, as we don't start this meeting and talk about business until there's an inspirational message of some sort, and each person is assigned, differently to deliver that message. And they're all different, right? Because everybody has their own idea of personal development. Mine's, focus on mind, body, spirit, then giving back, that kind of stuff. But not everybody has that. So you have to kind of tier it a little bit more towards them. And then when it comes, like you're saying, when you're mixing business there, you got to make sure you're not getting too religious or anything like that.
That's
However,
what I say. It's just a different dynamic
Yeah.
involved. It's a double dynamic.
but it's a culture you have to build from the start.
I think
and
it's
I think we used to ask people during interview questions if they were going to be part of our community or not, whether or not they kind of were into that, how they felt about it, because we just want to make sure they fit in with the culture.
Yeah, right. Because if you're just going to be a wild card, you're gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll be so I want to talk a little bit about.
Yeah, but let's.
I just had a sip of this water.
Yeah,
and
I
I'm
was
like,
gonna say that's a long answer. Take a sip.
It gave me a chance to actually get a sip, so thank you.
2 episodes ago, we sat down with Mike Butcher, and he was talking about this water company that he's working with now. And
Did he bring you water?
He did. Well, he didn't, but because it just kind of came up.
Okay.
But
Then
he
we were
was,
pizza butcher.
Okay, at least you had
Yes.
pizza, right?
Yes.
No, he didn't even bring us pizza.
Well, the truck was down the street.
Oh, did you go get pizza after we were done?
No, but I could have.
I'm about to text him right now.
Yeah, it's very rude.
We
Very
should.
rude, Mike.
That's all right.
Come
Been on
on,
the show
Mike.
twice.
Come on.
Bring us a pizza next time.
He says that you've got a lot of. There's some professional sports teams that are consuming this water right now. That's the story we were given.
We're very, very fortunate. So let me just say how my
Let's
family
talk
got
about
involved
this, yeah.
really fast.
Is it Hydor?
It's called Hydor. Yep. And
He's got the hat.
I got the hat on. I'm definitely passionate about this water for sure.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. Origami Owl, I helped birth this child right here from the very start. So I have a lot of love and a lot of passion for that. So I'm not trying to dismiss that or move on, but I definitely have passion for this water right now. And specifically because it's an amazing product, but I get to work with my brothers on this product, and that's what makes it so amazing for me. As I said, I'm the second oldest of 5 children. I have 3 brothers and 1 sister, and we actually all work together on this project.
It's so cool.
So it's really cool. I stepped away from the family business, was gone for truly 12 years of my life, like not working with the family at all, except for maybe the occasional special project, but I was here. I was at Origami.
Yeah.
But now I get to actually spend a lot more time with my siblings on this. So it's definitely, I don't know. I don't want to, once again, discount the passion I have for origami, but I just have a lot of love for this product right
We
now.
will buy this water because
And,
there's
and what is it? I mean,
I
it's
didn't-
water. But it's a different type of water.
It's the smoothest water I've
But
ever
it's
tasted.
cellular hydration. So
Cellular
let's-
hydration.
We need to talk about this. We just can't.
So
let's do this.
So I didn't answer your question though, really quick. You said we have sports teams, so let me just answer that really fast. And I apologize. I kind of get talking, but
fine.
we definitely have some sports teams that have utilized our product. If you happen to see Hard Knocks maybe a couple years ago, and you go back and watch some videos, you might see some of this sitting on tables there. That's all I can say about that one. And then occasionally, if you were to turn
such
on
a good
a
series.
certain, I don't know, basketball team, you might have seen us
Oh, nice.
maybe in a little bit of the background
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
depending on who's there. I have a lot of screenshots on my phone to save those, but we're not allowed to kind of promote that. But it's really cool right now. We have a lot of, as you were suggesting, professional athletes that actually like our water. I think you just were hinting at the reason maybe why they like our
Why?
water.
Yeah.
So
we refer to
smooth.
it as cellular hydration. Once again, I can't make claims about our water, but if you taste our water, if you try our water, you'll recognize there's a few things different about it. You were saying earlier how when you drink it, you kind of feel like it just kind of goes down and you don't have to worry about it. Well, what we've heard athletes tell us is that when they drink this, you can pound this entire 32-ounce bottle right here, and you're not going to get bubble gut. And I test it all the time. If we weren't on the air right now, I'd encourage you both to just chug it really fast and see what happens. But take a big swig, because it just kind of, it's amazing what happens when your body absorbs this water.
That was a big swig.
He's still going. I like it. But that's actually one of the selling features. And when we would,
look at this.
Ooh, I like it. He's putting me to the test.
Was that the whole thing?
Yeah.
He's putting me to the test right now.
How do you feel?
Hydrated.
That's what you wanted to hear.
I wish it was that fast. I hope it's that fast.
No,
but
I mean, you're right. You would feel like
you feel kind of gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's none of that.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. So we own a proprietary technology that basically structures the water. So we add dimension to the water is basically what I can tell you. And we try to
feel like
fifth
Right
dimension.
now.
Yeah,
I love it.
We try to mimic kind of water in nature. So if you look at the back of our ingredients, all we have in this is water. There's no minerals added for flavor. There's nothing. We can take water and strip it of every chemical there is in it, and we can just turn it back to its natural form. That's what we try to do.
Amazing.
So,
like spring, because there's different kinds of water, right?
we can pretty much take almost any water source there is, as long as it's fairly clean, right? And we can clean it up and turn it into this exact same water. So that's one
Can
of
we
the
buy
things.
it at Basha's yet?
Not yet. Unfortunately, not yet. So we're actually opening a facility in Queen Creek, Arizona.
You are?
Yeah, we're opening a facility in Queen Creek, Arizona. Originally, all our water was coming out of Colorado, but now we're actually going to be here local in Arizona. We've been trying to get things to Arizona. We're here in Arizona now, so it's going to be in Queen Creek,
You
Arizona.
can make Phoenix water taste like that good, man.
Believe it or not,
Game over.
you'll be surprised.
Yeah,
You'll be
love it.
surprised.
I
So
love it, man.
we're very fortunate. Like I said, we own the technology, so my family's heavily involved in this. As you were suggesting, Mike Butcher is actually the one who brought us this project and said, hey,
Nice.
what do you guys think? Are you interested? And we're dove straight in. We're like, absolutely. We own the technology that can do it, so let's do it.
All right, Steve, we got to wrap them up.
All right, let's say
you've always
I
got a fun question.
I got a question. He's again like another guest, just doing so many different things, but entrepreneurial with an amazing heart. If your brain had a Tyson mode button that you could press anytime, what hilarious or unexpected thing would instantly happen if you press that button?
Oh my
Tyson mode.
gosh,
I mean,
Tyson mode.
I could feel your energy. So I don't know if it's something to do
Tyson
with that.
Tyson mode's personal development. So
Okay, there you go.
it's like instantly going to be at the gym or trying to find something that makes me laugh. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I need something that's just going to motivate me, something that's going to drive me.
I love that. Okay.
I can find motivation almost everywhere. So it's just I need something though that's just going to get me going.
Gotcha.
I'm normally really kind of like on a chill level, but I can activate that. Let's get excited. Let's go do something.
I
mode.
could tell. I mean,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
It's good to meet
Yes.
you, man.
Guys,
Great
this
to meet
this
you,
is
yes.
too fast. This went by really
I
quick.
know, it always goes by
Oh, my
quick,
gosh.
especially when you're in such a great
I know,
conversation with
exactly.
somebody.
Yeah, we're just getting started.
I
There's so
know.
much more I want to say, so much more y'all
Oh,
want to talk about.
If you,
No.
want to say, you can throw it out. We don't
I
have to-
think part 2, part 3. I think his is
I'm
gonna
ready.
be another
Yeah,
guy
come
that
back
comes
in.
back a couple of times.
Yeah.
I would love that. Let's
Yeah,
do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'd love to sit down and I could do a whole podcast on personal development. I'd
Love
love
it.
to talk about that. I mean, this is some of the stuff I'm doing for companies now, and so I think it's brilliant that you're instituting this into the fabric of what happens here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'd love that. No, it's everything. Like I said, personal development is life. It's what's going to drive you to success.
Yeah, and actually, I'm getting to a stage in my life where I don't even really want to interact with people that aren't working on themselves because they drain you.
Yeah, no, you said it, right? It's energy likes energy. It wants to
Yes.
match. It wants to go. So you know when you walk into a room, you're like, ooh, that person's going to drain me,
Yeah.
and ooh, that person's going to uplift me. I'm going to start gravitating there.
Right,
So
right. It's important.
absolutely.
All right, good stuff. Tyson,
Yes.
Basha, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Guys,
Thank you.
pleasure being on
Awesome.
here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Really quick, just thanks again to Bella Set Lingerie and Brooklyn V's for being our sponsor today. And when we come back, we're going to be sitting down with the woman who was asking for all this money to get this project off the
Chrissy,
ground.
how many times have we heard her name this so far?
Chrissy Weems joins us next. Hi there, my name is Matthew Blades.
And I'm Steve Petz, and together we host the YouTube and podcast series Move the Needle.
And we're reaching out to you because we're looking for incredible guests in our community who are doing just that, moving the needle. So who are you thinking?
Restaurant owners, business owners,
Yes.
educators, coaches.
Professional baseball, football, basketball, whatever, former athletes, nonprofit leaders, speakers, authors. If you're moving the needle in our community, we'd love to feature you on our podcast.
Really, if you're a person of impact, positive impact, trying to transform.
You don't want anybody
people's
with negative impact?
No negative
Okay,
impact.
that
No
seems fair.
negativity. That's the only criteria. How about that?
All right, if you're interested in being a guest on our Move the Needle YouTube and podcast series, hit the link below, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It's segment number 3 of our Move the Needle podcast, and we are here with somebody who's moving the needle on the
Yes.
daily.
Yes.
We finally have the Chrissy Weems hanging out with us on the Move the Needle
Yes.
podcast.
Wow, that was a lot of pressure.
Yes. Yes.
We're counting on you.
Well, you were invoked. I mean, yeah.
So
Okay.
far, the first 2
guys.
interviews have been a little slow. So
Oh
we're hoping-
yeah. I love that. Let the guys hear that. I love
That's
it.
good. No, you are involved with Origami Owl.
I am.
In what capacity? Help me understand that.
So I'm the co-founder and CEO of Origami Owl, started by Bella, my daughter, when she was 14.
Story that I have is that Bella wanted a car. You guys put her into reality real quick, and you said, "You want a car? Get a job."
Yeah, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I come
Okay.
Hardworking.
from the home of a single mom, St. Louis, Missouri, and no one ever gave me anything.
Yes.
And my mom, my papa, my grandma, they taught me, you work for what you have in life. And so when she came and the Untitled, give me the car with the bow on top, my husband and I looked at each other, we were like,
You
I don't know
just
what
laugh, right?
I don't know what family you think you're born into, but it wasn't. You're not in the right family for that.
So hold on real quick. St. Louis, I did a little time in St. Louis too. We lived in Florissant. I went to Hazelwood. I'm not
Okay.
sure where you were.
Down in South County, Lindbergh High School,
Okay.
South County, and Ted Drew's.
Oh,
my
I don't even
gosh.
know it because I was young when I
Oh,
was
you
there.
were
I was
young.
I was
Ice
a
cream.
teenager.
Anyone from St. Louis knows Ted Drew's.
Okay.
Ice cream.
Fair enough. What year is Origami Owl birthed? What year is your daughter wanting this car?
So July 2010.
Okay. Amazing.
Yep.
So how does this go? You should get a job. Most people would be like, all right, let me go down to Basha's and fill out an application. Let
Yeah.
me go to the mall.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm going to do this.
Well, So no, that's not at all how it happened. I'm going to do this. What? No 14-year-old can do this. First of all, on their own. But really, what happened was she said it that she wanted it. We said work for it. Then we'll match you half, and she started babysitting. And she started babysitting, and she earned a little over $300, like $350. And she's like, this is going to take forever. And mind you, she didn't want a brand new car.
Right.
She wanted a used car for her 16th birthday, a used white truck to be exact. Okay. And so after she earned some money, she said, it's going to take forever. And we said, hey, what if you start a little business? She's like, what does that even mean? And we said, let's research. And that's what we did.
Really?
Yeah.
It started from like really like a seed of thought.
Like a seed of thought, yes.
Wow.
Now, do you or your husband have this business acumen to like get these types of things off the ground? Is that a skill set you possess?
Well, without a doubt, we're both, I would say, serial entrepreneurs, both very tenacious and driven where business and business and creativity are concerned. And really, we just started doing research. Bella and I had made jewelry since she was a really little girl.
Awesome.
Beaded jewelry, and we went on a track and just started researching, seeing what we could find.
Do you remember the first piece that you guys ever designed together?
Let's see here. What I remember is, so at first we didn't invent a locket, right? Glass lockets have existed since the 1600s.
Right.
That wasn't
New-
our
new
invention.
spin, new
Yeah,
spin.
new spin.
Uh-huh.
So what we used to do is, I remember going into Claire's with Bella, and we used to cut the backs off of the earrings. We'd buy the big cheap earring pack, like 20
Okay.
earrings in a pack. We cut off the back and use those in charms inside of the locket. Like that's what I remember. It was like,
Interesting.
yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
And then now, how many different pieces do you have? Do you even know?
Thousands between our it's all miniature, right? So between our normal miniatures and also our licensed Disney collections and Harry Potter, we have thousands of miniature little charms.
Thousands.
I know we have a lot more to talk about,
Yeah.
but did she ever get the car? Did she get the truck?
She got the car. It was actually a Jeep named Owlice, Owlice, when she was
So
16.
cute.
Earned it and then some.
Yeah, she did. That's so cool.
So I read this. So you started doing house parties. Is that correct? You started, okay.
Yep. Started doing house parties.
So a question on that, maybe a little bit surprising or funny with those, share a story that from the beginning, from those house parties?
So I think one of the best is I remember dropping Bella off at someone's house. And of course, it wasn't like total stranger, but it was like a warm referral connection. I would drop Bella off, I'd pick her up, and she would have $1,200 worth of checks, cash checks. Oh my gosh, we used to have checks. What even is a check?
Right.
But so she would come out of there with $1,200 after being there for 2-3 hours with a lot of stories to tell. And one particular day, she said, "We're eating good tonight." That was like a memory that it's a family joke.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I love that.
What happened in that house party that made you all eat good that night?
Well, connection. The world is starved for it, and this was a while back, but it was about people getting together, sharing stories, selecting little tiny miniature things that remind them of what matters most.
That's what you do.
That's what we do.
That's what Origami Owl is.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's really cool for you to say that. It's a really special thing. And yet, how many people do you have selling this product for you?
Yeah, so as far as sales go, we've shifted the model a bit. And so...
do you mind walking us through that a little bit? I think
sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah, no problem. So we started out doing home parties, and we had the most amazing designers. And designers were independent women, business owners, a few good men who wanted to make a little extra money sharing something that they loved. And, really that we attracted a lot of people early on. We had a fun, vivacious culture, and it was exciting and energetic. And in time, what has happened is the whole social selling industry has really changed. And part of that is because there's so many other opportunities now. Before you used to have to, really, like in 2010, you could be a preschool teacher if I'm talking about a part-time job. Mm-hmm. You could work in a classroom. You could babysit at your house. There weren't a lot of little part-time things to do.
Right.
We're in a gig economy. So we were an early gig economy, and now with the gig economy, it's really hurt the overall social selling industry because you can go get in the car and pick up Instacart or Uber, Upwork, Fiverr, all those things, right? So it shifted a little bit, and as we saw the shift, the business really started to decline. And when that happened, we said, okay, what now? And so we have really shifted our business model to diversify our revenue composition. Used to come solely from our designers or the called brand partners now. Now we've diversified, and we are sharing our product B2B, wholesale. In fact, can I just say, we actually just won Best Women-Owned Brand at Magic Fashion Events in Vegas.
Congrats, is right.
Let's go, everybody.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of that.
Should be.
Yeah, lady, keep going.
Yeah, so essentially B2B, definitely direct to consumer. We have a subscription model. So we had to diversify, and honestly, in order to stay alive. I've learned in business, if there's one thing I've learned, innovate or die. You innovate or die.
So true.
You're either growing, they say you're either growing or dying.
It's true.
And if you start to see a little stagnation and it starts to dip, you're actually dying.
And it was the hardest thing for me because I am such a fiercely loyal person, like to the people, and we have many now who still share our product. And, to have to say, okay, well, this alone isn't going to sustain the business. And, those are the tough business decisions you made, and say, hey, how can I still impact lives? How can I still create a community of, like I said, mostly women, and give people the opportunity to be a part of something greater and still keep the company afloat? And so diversification, innovation. It's what.
Did you ever see it getting this big? I wish that we could just take the cameras and show everybody what's happening here.
Walk
But we
around
have
the
a
whole
great
facility.
storefront.
It's amazing.
Yeah, there's then the behind the scenes, and there's all the offices, and it's this huge warehouse, and there's
people
so
on the
much
phones,
happening.
and there's a whole call center.
There's a lot going on
There's
over
a
here.
lot of activity.
Did you ever see it getting this big? Maybe you dreamed it, but did you ever?
I can't say I saw it getting this big from a financial perspective when we grew, right? We had explosive growth in the beginning. But what I did see early on, and it became, I think, kind of the pulse or the heartbeat of the company, was the ability we had to create a ripple effect of good in the world. It was more impact based. I mean, where my passion really came in was, hey, how do we, that little droplet of water, what impact? We've got one life to live. What are we going to do with it? That's what I saw. Less of the financial growth and more of the, what are we going to do to change the world growth?
So you can measure the financial impact. How do you measure the personal impact that you're having on people?
That is a great question. Let's see. How do you measure personal impact you're having on people? What do you think?
I would say that if, based on people communicating their feedback towards you, are people receptive to what you're saying? Are people coming around you, or are they repelling?
Right. So, I mean, I guess what comes to my mind, and I think that's absolutely accurate. Any business has metrics, KPIs, and like you said, you can measure the dollars coming in and the dollars going out. And if we're talking about that with the Giving Goodness Foundation and our charitable initiatives, we have given over $6 million to charitable organizations to bless people's lives. So that's a financial number, right? But really, it's the stories that we hear. It is the letters. It's the you changed my life. It's the without this I'd be, in a really bad space. And so, measuring impact other than getting out there, serving, doing good. Dollars alone don't do it. We're very purposeful where we put our dollars to help individuals, whether it's paying an electric bill, buying someone a car that needed it, paying rent for a few months for a single mom. We get down and very specific with our organization, how we choose to share.
Yeah, I called her. I found this word, Chrissy, mompreneur. Because she's been a mom first, and your daughter was so instrumental.
Yeah.
And I got a question along like that, because you were so deep rooted in your values. With your daughter, what type of out-of-box parenting advice that you were able to give her that she's been able to double and help her in this business?
I think the primary thing that comes to my mind, first of all, is to see the good. In business, when you're successful, you assume everyone's cheering for you, right? You assume that, like, oh my gosh, look at how hard we're working. Look at how great this is. That isn't the case. Yeah. And I've had to teach Bella to assume the good. Assume that even though someone might say something, it's okay. I mean, if they're not super positive, assume the good anyway. Yeah. I think the second thing is, to me, there's nothing like work ethic. Okay. For me, like, one of the most disgusting characteristics in a human being is lack of work ethic. Like, I can't even be around it. Sure. And she has a diehard work ethic. My kids have learned to work, and people that we surround ourselves with here work. We're not a non-working kind of.
When you asked that question, Steve, I thought, she's from the Midwest. Her answer is going to be, I just get up every day and I go to work.
Put your shoes on,
like,
and
that's
get it done.
The magic. That's the fairy dust.
Yeah.
Get up and keep showing up.
And I think part of that is, let's be honest, when you don't want to.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because how many of us go through an experience, a hardship, where you feel like giving up? Yeah. I mean, you're not in business for this long, and just everything's great every day.
In the beginning, we've talked about this on many shows. We've had a lot of entrepreneurs, and you again, back this up, because you've had amazing success. But people do not see those first 2-3 years of where it's you don't know if you're going to be there, the next week. And we've had somebody that sold their business, Todd, for over $1 billion on our show, and he said the same thing. They didn't know if they were going to be around, to make the payroll on Monday. And so there's some some magic involved in what we do, and I do believe that goodness governs something. There's something to be said when you have it. Doesn't I've seen it in my past business. I see it in this business we do. When there's goodness involved, good people want to be around you, and then when you get a bunch of good people around you, you create something good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's that simple.
It's the ripple effect.
Like you're saying that, right? So, I don't know. And so I've kind of personally felt that. And, why not be positive? I mean, why not be,
why not think goodness?
Oh, ooh, that was a good one. That was a good one.
See?
But isn't it intention?
Yeah.
I believe it's intention. People can feel your genuine intention. And when good people get together and the intention is to make a difference, to bless the life of someone else.
Right. To not just grab a piece for themselves.
Exactly.
Right. It's called selfless.
Yes. When it's only about money, in my experience, it always fails. If that's the only thing it's about.
Yeah, money really does. It twists a lot of situations and
it does.
Families, and it really is. If you don't have a good grip on it, it's
can
a destroyer.
It can destroy. Absolutely.
Destroy. That's for sure. As we wind down with you, what do you dream is next for this incredible company that you guys have created, both with Thank Goodness and Origami Owl? What's the next step?
So I'll tell you what I see. That, like you said, that vision, do you see it? Origami Owl will be a global household name.
Love that.
So Origami Owl is our flagship brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is what started our meaningful storytelling jewelry. It resonates with people. And we are actually, so we might have to talk about it later, but we're actually undergoing a rebrand. And so the name will still be Origami Owl, but you're going to see, you're going to see a new innovative brand. I've brought in an incredible right-hand human with a lot of experience in brand and brand strategy, marketing strategy. So he and I and the team are formulating a new brand. You're going to see us in more retail store locations.
Like more jewelers or more standalone stores?
More standalone stores.
How soon?
Yeah.
How soon?
This year.
This year, 2025.
2025.
When will you be making the announcement?
Apparently I just did.
Yeah.
But the official announcement will come in a couple months.
Oh my God.
But we're calling this official because she's on the
it's
Movie
official.
Podcast. It's official.
It's official.
She said it. She said it
You
first.
heard it.
And before you go, I got a question on this
Okay,
creativity. Are
let's
you ready
go.
for this one?
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is okay. Okay, if you could create a Thank Goodness
She already did. Next
Origami
question.
Owl themed superhero. I know it's a she. Complete with a catchphrase and signature power.
Whoa.
What does she look like? Who is she?
Oh my gosh. It is like some blend of Wonder Woman, Superman flying through the air.
Okay.
And you know what the superpower is?
What is that?
Healing with just one glance of the eyes.
Imagine that.
Healing all that hurts in the soul with one glance. Being able to see what troubles you and just being able to heal it, like wipe it away.
I want to bring you back to where you started.
Okay.
I think your superhero power is connection. That's really what this boils down to. Because when you provide these experiences for people, whether it's in the home or the mall or whatever it is, and they get that little nugget, they get that
Special.
little
It is.
locket, and they put those meaningful things inside of it. And
Yes.
what they ultimately have found is connection to something that's
My
important.
daughter
to them.
had them, of course.
Yes.
She was right in that breadbasket.
Well,
she was in that age.
And further, we've really expanded past just lockets and charms. This little necklace I have on has S for my granddaughter's story,
Love
who
it.
Bella and Dallin adopted a few years ago. But on the back it says, "I am beautiful, strong, resilient, enough, and loved." So what you see is out here, but what I see is that message that honestly a lot of women need to hear. Even those who are the most confident need to hear that message. But it boils down to connection without a doubt. And what my goal is to create an experience, a brick and mortar experience where people want to flock to it because of how they feel when they come in, because of the experience they have, and because they can have face-to-face authentic communication and connection beyond living in a very highly digital AI social media world.
Yeah, come in and put it together.
Yeah,
With your
and just
hands.
tell the story.
Yeah.
Tell me what this means to you.
I love this.
We need it. The world needs more connection.
I'll tell you, your positive energy is contagious, and so
Thank you.
it's not shocking that you have all this. It's really not thinking of
Because you couldn't be successful with just jewelry.
No.
Like, I mean,
There's
like,
a lot of jewelry.
There's 1,000 of them out there.
There's ways,
Yeah.
there's
Gotta
so much
be depth.
There's so much
There has
thought.
to be.
There's so much
Yeah.
thought behind this. Again, like it's amazing. So
I'm a fan. I mean, I was just saying before you got here, this is such an impressive place.
yeah.
Thank you.
You walk in and you're genuinely genuinely wowed a little bit, like at all the things.
Thank you.
Great job.
And I'm so excited because I'm finally meeting you in person. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, I've been friends with Tammy and Mike Butcher for over a decade. So I've vicariously heard about you, the amazing things you're doing here. And so finally sitting here is good to meet you, and it's great to hear your story. So
Thank you.
that is awesome.
Grateful to be with you.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for moving the needle.
That's what she does. That's what
Yes.
she does. All right. Well, listen, thanks to Chrissy Weems. Thanks to Shawn Maxwell. Thanks to Tyson Basha. They all had great things to say about you as well.
And these brands, Origami Owl,
I
and
know.
thank goodness.
yeah.
What is a great way? How do people interact with the brand? Is it like, say, I want to, and then there's probably two portals of entry, right? There's the person who wants to sell this with you and be in it with you, and then there's
Yeah.
the person who just wants to buy this for themselves and they don't want to start selling it. But so
Yeah.
give me those two doors. For
Well,
you.
so we actually don't. You cannot apply to be a seller any longer. So
Okay.
those who are like our legacy
They're
sellers.
grandfathered in. or
Yeah, they're like,
grandmothered in.
yeah, those are kind of our legacy brand partners.
Beautiful.
Yes. But really, it's interacting with us if you have a retail store. And it's something that you want to carry in your retail store. We're very selective of where it goes, but
Just contact you here,
Yep.
at Origami Owl
Yep.
headquarters.
Yep, at thinkgoodness.com. You can go
Goodness.
down the bottom. You can contact us, reach out. And then obviously you can shop online with one of our brand partners. And yeah, we're going to customize it. We're going to make it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I should have brought it, but I have to tell you about one of the pieces of jewelry where your logo, mountain, resonates. So we have a piece that has a little mustard seed in it with mountains in the background.
Okay.
And the concept is with faith the size of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And that's part of what I love about the Move the Needle
Thank you.
name, theme,
that.
and podcast, because it's the same concept.
Thank you. And those are the mountains. That's the MTN.
It is.
I remember the first day we said it, you were like MTN. You were like, I love that.
I do too.
Yeah, me too.
I do.
Still do.
Yeah,
all
me too.
these
So
all these shows
Thank
later.
you for the kind words on that too. We're working
course.
hard. We're in our, we're actually coming up in our first year. We're gonna,
awesome.
Yeah, so super exciting about that.
You remember when you sold 50 pieces of jewelry? We're about 50 episodes in.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
Got to start.
Next,
somewhere.
maybe 50 episodes in, 50 retail locations around the world.
Let's put it out there.
If we start hanging around people like Chrissy and Shawn
Yeah.
and Tyson and pick their brains a little bit, the
definitely
world's
Chrissy.
yeah.
Hey, those guys are great. They've been by my side and by Bella's side for 14 years, and it's been a lot.
Yeah.
It's been
Chrissy,
a lot.
our audience heard you're the whip. You're the one
Yeah.
that gets it. You get everybody together, and that's that energy. That's that positive
Well,
energy.
I am the whip for sure. But
Yes.
can I just tell you, how many business people have you interviewed, or people who own businesses that are still in partnership with their partners 14 years later? It's rare.
It's very rare. It is.
Especially when you go through up and down, private equity, in and out, very difficult times. And I have the most amazing
Yeah,
partners.
guys,
Yeah.
you could feel the love. I mean,
Yeah.
you guys are speaking of love of one another, so it's amazing. So keep
good.
it up.
All right. Thank you again. Thanks also to Bella Set Lingerie. Thank you to Brooklyn V's
I
for
think we'll
being a
stop by
sponsor.
Brooklyn V's. I'm on the way home.
I
That's what
love
I'm doing.
Brooklyn V's.
Awesome. Shout
The
out to
meatballs,
Vito.
I hear, are out of this world.
I've had the meatball, but the slice.
Oh, the slice of pizza. I'm going to go for the chicken parm tonight.
Are you?
I'm hungry. It's a big plate.
It is a big
He
plate.
does this thing, Chrissy, where he doesn't eat all day and then he eats
I
one
like
big meal.
I like to play. I like to play hungry. You ever know so when I'm here, I don't like to eat. You don't like to eat.
Well, you should have talked to Shawn. He's into intermittent fasting.
So I do too. But we've talked about. That's
Yeah.
what I do. So I basically eat one meal a day. I haven't eaten anything all day.
Okay, Brooklyn V's, here he
There it
comes.
Yeah, here we go.
It's one big meal a day.
All right, we will let everybody go. Enjoy the rest
Yes.
of your day, and we'll see you for episode number 46 next time. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.